Distribution map for this particular exercise. Again, this is another way of doing an alternate story form of how to display data or display information very visually. And it makes it much easier to tell what's going on within a graph. This particular kind of graphs shows how you can give quantitative data, give numbers over a given area. So I did a quick Google search for distribution maps just to give you an idea of what these look like. The two most common ones that you're going to be seeing, especially around this time, are used in weather and also used for political reasons. How are we seeing these used politically? It's an election season, huh? Yeah, number of voters. Who voted for what? Which state voted Democrat or Republican? Who voted most for one person or less? And they do it over the distribution of a map. So it's a way of showing numbers and collections of numbers and where they stack up in relation to specific areas. Usually for a distribution map, of course, you've got a map of some sort, something that's recognizable. You've also got a key that has a variety of colors, and usually these colors are in different values, a darkest to a lightest. And you can quickly gather, even though you don't really know what the data is about, where higher concentrations can be simply because you've got a darker area. You can tell where the lower concentrations are accordingly based on its value. And like I said, you usually see these spread out over a variety of maps and can be used for different purposes. What I'm going to give you today, let's pull back up the Moodle page. I don't have it on Moodle just yet. For today's Moodle page, I'm going to give you an Excel spreadsheet that's got a lot of numbers to it. Now, we're not going to use all of the numbers. We're going to keep it relatively simple. We're just the North America and European selections. And let's look at what our data is. What are we trying to track? Average ticket prices over a variety of different years, over a variety of different countries. If I was to look at this data, unless you're really mathematically numbers, Rain Man mindset, you can't look at this and tell how well is it changing. Is it getting higher or lower? Very easily. You'd have to study it very closely. A distribution map, if I can look at 2005 and compare it with 2010, visually I can be able to quickly tell based on if there's a change in its color value. And so that's what we're going to see for this one. I'm giving you an Excel spreadsheet. I'm aware that some of the computers don't have Excel on them. If yours doesn't, we can open this up in Google Docs, and you can do the same thing online. Has anybody ever used Google Docs spreadsheet? Very, very simple, works just the same. But if for whatever reason, if you double click it, it should open up in Excel, look like this. If it doesn't, or if it opens up like in Preview or some other thing, I'll work with you and we'll work through Google Docs. I'm also giving you an Illustrator file that's already got all the countries vectorized out, so you don't have to redraw these the way you had to redraw the dinosaurs. We will, however, have to take the information and colorize the map, and so that's what I'll show you how to do from here. If you have the exercise step-through instructions that I gave you, I've broken it down into 3 different parts, and though it looks very, very complex, there's a lot of steps to them. What you're essentially doing is you're taking the data, you're trying to put it in order, and then we're going to the map and we're colorizing the map, and I'm showing you how to set it up. Right now the map is just very boring and plain. I'll leave it up to you however you want to design this map once it's already done. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, let's look at the data and see how we can parse out this data. A lot of people don't think of Excel as a graphic design tool. The truth of the matter is you need to learn how to at least navigate through it and understand it if you're ever working with people. The data that I need on this map is really just 2005 and 2010. We're going to compare those 2 years. And we're going to be working with the North America and Europe data set. So I can highlight it, click and drag. Notice that I got North America and Europe as well. That's going to come in handy in just a little bit. I'll copy it and paste it into another document. New, I call workbooks on Excel. When I paste, there it is from here. If you didn't know about Excel, if you need to arrange things or move things around, you can click on the column widths and readjust it so you can see your information from here. What does this data column represent?
Prices in 2005.
2005, good. What is this one? 2010. Those are the only two that I care about. I can get rid of everything else. The easiest, quickest way is to select all of them. In between, you can go up to Edit and delete it away, and that'll leave you with these two data sets. That's all I really care about. The next thing I need to do is I need to put these in order, because we're going to be showing the ranges between certain price range. And so I need to put these in, all the ones that are between less than $3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 6 to 7, so on and so forth. Here's the easiest way to do that. If you select your data, remember I'm clicking at the very top all the way to the bottom, you can filter it, or you can apply a filter to it. Under Data, here's Filter, and I get these little two drop-down arrows. What I want to do is I want to put these in a descending order from lowest, or excuse me, ascending order from lowest to highest, but also keep all the other bits of data together. Now that I've got a little drop-down menu, one of the options is to list an ascending or descending order. If I did ascending, you can see everything swaps up from here. If I did descending, of course, do the opposite side of it. And notice that the information stays the same for each of the rows as well. Pretty cool? Did I lose anybody on that? We're going to keep it on ascending. I want it to the smallest first. So I've got Belgium through here, and then in 2010, it's for this one. You're going to do this twice. You're going to make a map for 2005 and a map for 2010. But right now I can look at it and I can get a pretty good estimate on what the prices are, or a good range on for each of the prices. Now let's go to the map and actually start designing it out and creating something for it. By the way, on this map, we'll see how well you know your European countries. There are some countries listed here that are not on the map. If that's the case, don't worry about it, just skip over it. There are more countries on the map than are listed here. And if that's the case, just don't color them in. So there's some you're actually going to leave gray. I'm only concerned about the ones that you've got data for and a map for as well. I think Malta is one that's not on the map. Make sense? Okay. Here's how we're going to make our map distribution. For most distribution maps, there needs to be a key of some sort. And give me some color coding to create this. Last time I showed you how you could use the blend tool to blend two different lines together. We're going to use the same tool to create a key of different things. I'm going to give myself a rectangle box. Truth is, you can use any shape that you want. Draw off one particular box up here, and let's give it a color. I'll use purple. So there's a dark purple. I need a range from dark to light, so I'll make a copy of it, and this will be my light color purple from there. Not necessarily white, just lighter in shade. From here, if I use my blend tool, I can click on one and the other, and this is the result that I get. It blends the two boxes together. Right now, however, it's giving me that smooth color. How can I open it up and tell it a certain number of steps? Double click on the tool. Anytime you do that, we'll bring up the tool options. I need to have at least 5 steps in between. So if I choose specific, I've already got 2 of them. So if I type in 3, this will give me 3 in between. So that gives me all 5 in between from here. And I can say OK to that. Other things to know about the blend tool and how this works. Remember, it's not a normal object. I've got a starting and a stopping. I really can't edit in between. But if I did make a change to one of these objects, like if I moved it over here, it would blend that direction as well. I can get them closer together or farther apart, and it'll update accordingly. I can even change the color. It doesn't have to be that particular color. It'll blend from purple to yellow. So in basic design, when you have to paint off all those color swatches, here's the easiest way of doing it as well. But I do need a light purple that I can work with. Let's make that a little bit lighter, actually. And I can visually see the difference between these two steps that I'm working with. I do need to break them apart so I can save this as a color swatch. Remember, if you create a blended object, it's not grouped together. I actually need to expand it. And this will allow me to select the individual ones on the inside. They are grouped together now, so I can ungroup it. I want to try something. I didn't get to do this last time. Let's see if I can. I've got them all selected. Before, if I drag it over here, nope, it's not going to work. Okay, I thought maybe I could quickly create swatches. We're going to make swatches out of each of...
Do them all at once. It makes a folder. You select them all and just hit new swatch.
New, that's what it is. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you, Ashley. That's what I'm looking for. I want to make a new swatch out of every single thing that I have here. I've got my swatches palette open. Right now it's showing me just my, show all swatches. If I've got them all selected, if I click here, this is to create a new color group. Since I've got 5 different swatches, I'll do it with my selected artwork. In other words, these swatches selected. If I say OK, automatically it adds those swatches to what I'm working with. Pretty cool? So no longer do I have to select individual ones and make a new one and say OK to it. This is one quick way of doing it. I do want to maybe change the order of these so that they're in descending order as they are from right here. Did I lose anybody on that? You've made a key. I do need to add what the key is about. So let's grab my type tool. This top one is going to be anything above $10. So we'll do greater than $10. We'll make a copy from there of each one. What's my next shade down?
$7 to $9.99.
$7 to $9.99. Next one down.
$5 to $6.99.
Oops. And?
$3 to $4.99.
And finally?
Less than $3.
Do less than $3. All right. Pull my swatches back over there. So that's my key, basic key that I've created from here. Again, you can go back and redesign this however you see fit. I've had people use circles. I've had people use different different shapes that you can work with, different color setups. But this is basically what I'm looking for. Now I need to start merging my data together, actually colorizing everything that's above $10 into the map. Let's start off with $3. We'll go back to Excel. I know that it needs to be less than 3, so I've got these 3 countries are less than $3. We'll copy it, jump back into here, choose your type tool, and paste it in. The new Illustrator pastes Excel information much easier. If you have an older version of Illustrator, it would paste that as a picture itself. All right, now let's play name that country. To fill this in, I need to find Belgium and I need to colorize it. Let me show you how I'm going to colorize it. I'm going to select my objects. The whole thing is selected. Rather than picking out individual countries and trying to click on the swatch, there's a tool hiding under your Shape Builder tool called the Live Paint Bucket tool. With the Shape Builder tool, you can use that to join together shapes. The Paint Bucket tool works like the Paint Bucket in Photoshop, in that I can click on an area and quickly fill it in. It'll recognize the shapes that I have. So if I was to choose, in this case, the 3 and under is the light purple, I can click over here, give it a second to recognize it. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. And it'll fill in whatever country that I have. You can even see it's now outlining whatever I need it to be. Very quickly I can color in and colorize what I have. If you want to get rid of the little blue dots, the outline that I have, Command H will hide your dots, and so you can actually see what you're working with. Let's put those back to gray the way God intended. All right, so where is Belgium? Where is Belgium?
Good question.
Siri, where is Belgium?
All right. This is where you're going to have to do your Google searching. Belgium. Belgium. Right there above France. So there's France, there's Belgium. Where's Slovakia?
Go to your right. A little bit. Slovakia.
Very good. Where's Romania?
Somewhere close to
Yeah,
I know Slovakia. I don't know Romania.
Romania. Right underneath Ukraine. Big one right under. Yeah, there's Romania. So there's those three. Let's do the next set of data. Jump back into Excel.
Apparently geography.
Oh, you're all Americans. Uh-oh. Got the numbers. I didn't get the countries. Copy. Paste. Where's Bulgaria?
I think it's right under the big one.
the big one.
I can't remember which one it was. It's yeah.
I think we all need to take a geography.
I'm pretty positive it is. Yeah, I was right. I was right.
Hey, there's Romania.
Except for the fact that I didn't know what it was.
Right underneath Romania. You're right. So there's Bulgaria. Where is Czech Republic?
It's a tiny one. Somewhere.
Two over from France. There's Czech Republic. Where's Lithuania?
It's to the west, I think. It's the water.
Against the water.
The
In
western
Europe, that
Italy.
describes a lot of people. Right there.
Yeah.
Where's Latvia? Right above it. Boom. Right there. Do you get the idea of what I'm doing? For each one, all the data sets that you have on here, you're going to choose the appropriate color. You're going to match it up with the data that you have. When you're finished, you should have a distribution map showcasing the cheapest tickets and the most expensive tickets within this area. And remember, you're doing two of them. This first one will be for 2005. The second one will be for 2010. If I go into my Excel spreadsheet, you can see here in 2005, once I sort the 2010 numbers, let's do it in ascending. Check out my data that I have here. Where is it starting at? Starting at 5. There's, what is that showing you?
Prices went up a lot.
Well, they went up a lot. There's nothing under $5. So visually, this map is going to be much darker. It's not really going to have any data sets from under here. You're going to see that visual shift from those two just in 5 years. You do need to use the same key for both of them so that they're visually interesting or make sense. They're compatible with each other. But you'll fill in both data sets once it's finished. After this, once you get it done, I'm going to leave it up to you how you design it out. Make it look more visually appealing. Think about backgrounds, change up the fonts, change out placement of things. How would you make this be something that someone would want to look at as well? Any questions on this?
Can we change the orientation of the landscape?
If you make it look good, I'll let you do whatever you want to it. How about that? Yes, I'll let you change your orientation, change it up however you want it to be. But I do need two separate maps once it's created. One of the common problems that we have on here, notice that I've got it selected, I still can't see anything. Remember, I turned my edges into hiding mode. Command H will turn it back on. Also, when you use your paint bucket, make sure you have it selected first, then choose your live paint and click over it. And that'll give it a second. Now it'll go into painting mode to fill it in. Cool? Okay. Other than that, this should be something you should be able to finish up by the end of class today. I'll turn it over to y'all and let y'all get started.